Welcome to my Crochet Bootie Sock tutorial. My name is Carla with Curly Cues, and this is a photo of the little booties that I created and shared on the Waffle group as well as my Curly Cues page. And this pink pair is the pair that we are going to be making today. So first, let's get started. This is the pair that I had made and shared, and I did make this using my hand spun yarn. It was a Merino bamboo blend that I dye and sell the roving. So I spun it up into a 2-ply yarn. What you'll need is an H hook, a 5.0 millimeter, and you'll need about 3 to 4 ounces of hand spun yarn, which is worsted to a almost chunky weight yarn. So to get started, attach your yarn to your hook, and what you'll want to do is start with a magic circle. To create a magic circle, simply crochet 4 single crochets, and then you will attach and join the circle. So you join it by pulling through the thread, and what you've got is a little circle there to work with. So you are going to then crochet 12 double crochets into that circle. As I get near or close to what I think is the end there with the 12 double crochets in the circle, I do like to recount and just make sure that that's the correct amount in there. Once you get to the last of your double crochets, you'll want to join. And so just double count or double check and make sure you've got the 12 double crochets in there. And then you'll join it at the top of that very first crochet. So there you've got the very first part of the toe for this. And you can see how I pulled my starting yarn. You can pull that circle closed with the magic circle. So that's what's really nice about that. So next what you're going to do is you are going to be increasing in this row, and you want to increase it from 12 to 24 stitches. So what you'll be doing is crocheting 2 double crochets in each of the previous double crochets. So you're going to just work in the round and continue to do 2 double crochets into each of those singles from the previous row. What I had noticed from working on my first pair of booties to this one is that this skein of yarn that I'm working with is quite a bit chunkier than the other one. However, the initial stitch counts are the same. Those did not seem to make a difference in the size of the bootie. So you start with that magic circle by chaining 4 and then joining, and then you will go ahead and do 12 double crochets. And after you join your 12 double crochets, you're going to be working on this round, and you're going to increase it to a total of 24 double crochets. So you are simply crocheting twice into that same entrance there. So there's that 1 double crochet, and then you go back in through that same loop and do 2. So as you get near the end, you'll see this a lot in the video that I go back and double check and count my work again, because you want to make sure those initial stitches are where you need to be at the 12 and 24. So when I filmed this video, I had planned on doing a voiceover later because I was on puppy patrol and had been watching the dogs in the morning, and if you could hear that background noise, you would hear some barking and growling and that sort of thing, because it was filmed first thing this morning, and they were pretty active this morning after a good night's rest. So here is the toe part of the beginning bootie, and I'll show you here. so you can see what the initial one looked like. So you can see a difference in the yarn. Like I said, this one is thicker as opposed to the other one, but we still have those 24 stitches, and it didn't seem to matter. The booty fits really nice. In fact, I almost kind of like this thicker version better. But you can use any size yarn. You don't have to use hand spun, although as spinners that's what we like to do, but you can use a commercial yarn as well, and that would work. After you've joined those and you have 24 stitches, you are then going to continue to double crochet 24 stitches around, and you'll join, and you'll continue doing that. What you're doing now is you are going to be working in the round, and you are creating the length of the sock, so the length of your foot. And when I originally did this with my first pair, I believe I did about 13 rows of double crochet. And on this one, it was very close. I think I maybe did one less just because of the size of the yarn. But the great thing about this, and the great thing that I love about crocheting and what I would call freeform crocheting or crocheting as you go, is that you can try this on as you're doing it. So these measurements, I should have mentioned also, is that I'm about a size 8 in women's shoe, and so this is what fit me. I would say if you were up or down a size from me, that you probably would be right about the same with the stitch counts. Otherwise, you might have to just either increase by a row or decrease by a row, but you should still be fine with those starting 12 and 24 stitches. So I'll probably speed up part of this video. But yeah, you'll continue to work on that and get your anywhere from probably 11 to 13 rows, depending on where it fits. When you are trying this on, you want it to fit and come to about the very top of your foot, where your foot meets your leg, or right around the ankle there. So after I've got that row on there, I'm going to take it back and place it on top of the booty that I worked on previously, just to see how it measures up. And you'll see that what I want to do is increase and make all those additional rows until I get to that part, which is basically that top part of your foot. And so here we go. This is what I've done. I've worked on it a bit further, and we're just about at that point to where it comes to the top of the foot. So I'll count my rows to see where I'm at, and if I'm right about where I need to be. I think I may have to put one more row on. Maybe two. So after I get those 2 rows on, then we're going to be working with the heel portion. So now it looks like I've got it to about the right length that it needs to be, and we're going to be working on the heel portion. So in order to do the heel portion, what you are going to do instead of working in the round, is you are going to work the flap as a straight piece. So you will go ahead and start by creating your first double crochet, and then you are going to crochet across 16 stitches. So you'll do your double crochets across for 16 stitches. And once you get to that point, you'll want to just double check your count and make sure you're at 16. And then you'll turn your work and continue to work back and forth. So once you've got your 16 stitches on there, you'll crochet 2 singles, turn your work, and crochet across again your 16 stitches. And you will continue to do that until you have the length of the flap that you need for the heel flap. And that is right around 5 rows of the double crochet. Now, I should mention, when I was working with a thinner yarn, I did 5 double crochets, and then I did a 1 row of a half double crochet. And that was just because I wanted to have a shorter stitch, because you're going to take that heel flap and join it together. And when I was using the thinner yarn, it had more gaps in it. And so that just kind of seemed to make sense for me. Now, you don't have to do that. If you're working with a thicker yarn, it's totally not going to be necessary, because your stitches are just bigger and you don't have that big of a gap. But just continue working back and forth, get your 5 rows in there, and then you can try it, slip it and try it on your foot and see how it's matching up. Okay, so now that we've got our heel flap long enough, we are going to seam it together. Now you have two options. If you're using a thinner yarn, you can use your crochet hook and then just crochet seam those two pieces together. But if you're using a thicker yarn, what you're going to want to do is use a mattress stitch to stitch it together. And so what I do is I tie off that last stitch, and then you're going to fold it down because you want to seam it up that side, and then you'll push that heel part through. So there's lots of videos online about how to do the seam stitch. What you're kind of wanting to do is an invisible stitch so it covers up, or so you don't see, and it's a nice smooth seam as opposed to having a ridge on it. But you kind of work back and forth within those stitches. So once you've got that all taken care of, you are going to then want to start working around the ankle part. So you'll want to reattach your yarn. And after you reattach it, you're going to be working and adding a single crochet around that area. So you're going to around that top area. And you want that single crochet because it's going to give you a nice base to work your next rows of stitches. So because you're working in stitches that are going the other way, you're going to just kind of have to evenly place these through there. But just evenly space them apart, not too far, not too close, just enough to where they lay flat. And you'll work all the way around that entire opening there. Once you do your first row, I would try it on just to make sure that your foot is still fitting in there nicely. You don't want it to be too tight. You don't want it to be too loose, but you just want to have kind of a little bit of a snug fit to it. once you get to the end of that row, you'll want to join it or connect the row and join it. On the first one, you'll see that I did 2 rows of singles, and then I did 2 rows of doubles and another row of singles. So this is where you can kind of have fun with it. If you want to have just a small booty, then you can have just a small booty and finish it off at that, like so. Or if you want to do the double crochets, you can add the rows of double crochets and then finish it off with a single. There's lots of different things. If you didn't want to do doubles, you could do, if you need to snug it up a little bit, I would maybe do like a row of half doubles or a row of singles, and that would kind of snug that part up too. You could do something fun. You could, finish it off with a picot type stitch or go back and add fringes or something like that. It just kind of all depends on what you'd like to do. But it was definitely a lot of fun. Uh, on this pink booty, I did go ahead and go back and do a double crochet and then finished it off with a single. Um, but I think on the ones I'm going to keep for myself, I think I'll unravel that and then just make it just the 2 singles. So it's kind of a lower cut booty. But that is all there is to it. I mean, how cute is that? Wouldn't that make a great gift? Thank you all for joining me for this video. If you have any questions, then feel free to send me a message and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. But in the meantime, enjoy your crochet journey. Thank you so much.